The Hard Stuff, all about bones. Written by Lisa Trumbauer. Body shapers. Lizards have one. Elephants have one. Even fish in the ocean have one. You have one too. What do you all have? You all have skeletons. A skeleton is a collection of bones inside an animal's body. The skeleton is like a frame that has muscles, blood vessels, and skin wrapped around it. Skeletons give vertebrates, humans, and many other animals their shape and form. In fact, you can probably identify many animals just by looking at their skeletons.
Not this one.
The lion?
Yeah, I don't see any mane.
You're right. Yeah, the lion skeleton probably...
Looks more like a tiger.
Okay, yeah. You probably need the mane to tell whether it's a lion or a tiger.
Yeah.
But it kind of gives you a sense of which of the animals it could be.
Kind of.
Okay, why are they called body shapers?
Because they help shape your body and keep you in the shape you are.
Okay.
Body shapers. Lizards have one. Elephants have one. The human skeleton is made up of 206 bones, starting at the top with the skull and ending at the bottom with the toe bones. The bones that help us move have muscles attached to them by tendons. Some bones protect delicate organs inside our bodies, for example, the heart and the brain. And many large bones have a special core that produces blood cells. Special tissues called ligaments connect the bones to make up the skeleton. To fully appreciate the function of bones, let's take a closer look at...
These look like they're wrapping the skeletons. So that they
the
don't
ligaments?
Yeah, the ligaments. So that they don't fall out.
Okay, what does it say about tendons?
They help the muscle. They help connect the muscles to the body.
Bones.
Bones.
Right? Why do the muscles need to be connected to the bones?
So that the bones can move. The finger or...
Oh, good. And how do the bones move?
The bones, the muscles pull them, and the tendons are connected to the bones. So the muscle pulls the tendon pulls the bone.
Absolutely. So what you're saying is basically muscles, when they either expand or contract. When they do that, they pull on the tendons, and the tendons in turn pull on the bones, and that is how the bones move. And that's exactly how animals move, by using their muscles. All right, what else did we learn here? What are ligaments?
They hold the bones together to make up the skeleton. They're sort of like tape.
Okay, let's continue further. Maybe we'll learn some more about ligaments.
Heads up. Press your hand against your forehead, the part of your face above your eyebrows. Does your forehead feel soft like a pillow? Or does it feel hard like a desk?
Hard.
Your forehead feels hard because you can feel your skull, or cranium, under the skin. The cranium, one set of bones in your body, protects your brain, a very important and very delicate organ. In some ways, the cranium is like a crash helmet, except that it is not as strong. For that reason, it's a good idea to wear a helmet for extra protection when you ride a bike, inline skate, or participate in certain other sports.
So what is she telling us in this page?
She's telling us that the skull protects your delicate organ like your brain, and that it's sort of like a crash helmet, except it's not that strong, which is why you wear a helmet if riding a bike in a race or something. So you'll have extra protection to your brain.
Right.
So if your skull if your helmet fails, your skull is there to. But if your skull fails, nothing's there to block it.
Good, very good. So it seems like one of the uses of the bones is also to protect the organs inside.
Yeah.
So the skull is a bone that is protecting an important organ inside. What organ is that?
The brain.
The brain, right? So the bunch of nervous tissue inside your skull, right? That's the brain, and that needs to be protected. So that's the one use of the bones.
Yeah.
But when we ride bikes, if you fall,
your skull could get cracked.
Correct.
Which is why you wear a helmet. If your helmet gets cracked, your skull is your back. If your skull gets cracked, there's nothing to back up your skull, so it'll hit your brain.
So the natural protection given by nature to us is not sufficient sometimes. And that's when you need to give additional protection on top of the natural protection.
Man-made protection.
Man-made protection, right? All right, let's continue on.
Pause button. Here.
If you feel around your head, your skull appears to be all one piece. Actually, though, the skull is made up of many different bones. The bones come together at special joints called
If you feel it here, it feels like there's a crack.
Say that again loudly.
If you feel it here, it feels like there's a crack.
Oh, good. So you have good observation. So what you're saying is, if you feel around your head, you feel the cracks, right? There are cracks in some places. It's not one single continuous bone, right?
No, take my touch here. And then move down or up, yeah.
See, there's a little dip. It feels like there's a little dip, which is like a hole in the skull, right? Well, hopefully we'll talk about that.
Parietal bone. Parietal.
Sutures. Unlike other joints, which allow quite a bit of movement, sutures don't move much. Remember touching your forehead? This part of the skull is the frontal bone. The ridge of bone above your eyes is the supraorbital ridge. The largest part of your skull covers the top and back of your head. These two bones are the parietal bones. The part of your skull just above your neck in the back is the occipital bone, and the sides of the skull above the ears are the temporal bones. In all, your skull has 22 bones, not counting the 6 in your middle ears and 1 in your throat. Beneath the skin on your cheeks, you can probably feel your cheekbones, or zygomatic bones. Your jaw is made up of 2 bones, the upper jaw, or maxilla, and the lower jaw, or mandible. The lower jaw is one of the few bones in your skull that can move on its own.
All right. So what is she saying? What is she saying? Telling us about your jaws?
Yeah, about your bones and your jaws.
So something.
And where the bones are located and what they're called.
Right. And something about the lower jaw? She just said something about the lower jaw.
It's one of the few bones in your skull that can move on its own.
Yeah, when you're actually chewing,
your jaw is moving up and down.
Yeah, only the lower jaw is moving. Upper jaw is steady. Only the lower part is going down and up, down and up, down and up. Yeah?
Yeah.
If you look at a skeleton, you might see something missing from its face. A nose. The part of your nose that sticks out is not made of bone, but rather of a tissue called cartilage. Touch your nose and move it around. It can bend, whereas bones cannot. Cartilage, also found at the ends of bones, keeps one hard bone from rubbing against another one.
All right. So when you looked at the skull, in the nose area...
The nose was just a hole.
So what does that tell you about the nose?
the nose is made out of cartilage, not out of bone.
Okay,
It's made out of a different material.
Yep, absolutely. So cartilage is a different material than the material used in bones. And which one is harder, you think?
Bones.
Bones, of course.
Obviously, if you can bend your nose, and you can't bend your bones, that means your bones are harder.
Good logic.
And you can press on your nose.
Good logic. So certainly, bones are harder than cartilage, and your nose is all cartilage. That's the reason you're able to do it, bend it, right? And what else did she say? She said something about cartilage being in between bones.
So it doesn't like scrape
each other.
Yeah.
Good. So the cartilage sort of acts like a cushion in between.
Yeah, cushion.
In between, right?
Like a magnet paper, magnet paper, magnet paper.
What's the magnet paper thing?
A magnet is a bone, a paper is a cartilage.
Oh, good. Oh, good logic. Yes, a magnet is hard, paper is soft.
Yeah, they can still stick together even through the paper, just like bones.
Oh, good analogy.
Skeletons also have teeth, but teeth are not bones. Teeth are harder than bones. The outside of a tooth is made of a substance called enamel, which is the hardest substance in the body.
All right.
Put your back into it.
Enamel.
So that's something. Bones is not the hardest part of your body. It is the teeth. Teeth are made up of enamel, and that is the hardest substance in your body.
It's hard to break.
Yep.
With your hands. It's easy to break with a hammer.
Right. In fact, when Tataya died, right, we cremated him, right? Do you know what? It's okay. Which tissues in your body are the only ones that might remain after
Teeth
burning?
And bones.
Absolutely. It's because they are the two hardest substances, right? So when you
But
cremate the person,
flammable.
I think what we did with a lot of fire, right? Most parts of all the tissues were destroyed.
I think cartilage is like flammable, but not bones.
You're right, but if you put enough fire, if you raise the temperature enough, you should be able to melt it, I think. But probably the fire that we use normally in cremation,
like 400 degrees.
Yeah, probably at that temperature.
Maybe at 500, 600
or maybe 1,000 degrees, it might burn. But the normal fire that we use there doesn't burn the bones. And then we collect all those bones and go, mix it in the river. That ceremony, right? Okay.
The skull connects to a major system of bones, the spinal column, or backbone. You can feel the first few parts of the spinal column along the back of your neck. These ridges continue down your back all the way to your hips. The ridges, called vertebrae, are the individual bones of your backbone. The spinal column has 33 vertebrae in all. 7 vertebrae, the cervical vertebrae, are found in the neck. 12 vertebrae, the thoracic vertebrae, run from the top of your back to about the middle of your back. 5 lumbar vertebrae are located at the back of your waist, followed by 5 fused sacral vertebrae, which sit between your hips. The remaining vertebrae form the coccyx at the bottom of your spinal column.
Whoa, that's a lot of information. So what is she talking about here?
She's talking about all the vertebrae.
What is a vertebra?
It's a type of bone.
Okay.
That makes up your back.
Yes, absolutely. So it is the backbone. So, there are 2 types of animals, right? Vertebrates and invertebrates.
Vertebrates have a backbone, invertebrates don't.
Yep. Can you give me an example of a vertebrate and an example of an invertebrate?
Vertebrae is like us humans. Invertebrates like them, snakes.
A good example. Humans have a backbone.
Snakes do not. That's how come they can slither and
That's
shake their back.
okay. And there's one powerful animal in water that is all muscle. Do you know which one? I think it's a shark, but we can double check on that one. Most of it is muscle. Okay, she's also telling us that our backbone is divided into three parts, right?
The cervical vertebrae, the
The
thorax vertebrae, and the lumbar vertebrae.
okay,
Well, four because there's five fused sacral vertebrae.
good. So sort of four parts. The one at the top is where the neck bones are, right? That's a cervical vertebrae.
Yeah.
And then after that is the thoracic vertebrae, where behind your chest, behind your ribs, right? And then the lower back is what? The lumbar vertebrae.
Yeah, and the bottom one is the sacral vertebrae.
Cool.
Bones bonus. The top two vertebrae are the atlas and axis. These two vertebrae allow you to nod and shake your head.
So the ones they're in the cervical vertebrae.
Cervical vertebrae.
Yeah. The ones at the top.
Oh, those are the two ones responsible for head shaking, is it?
Yeah. That's what I think. I think they're in this cervical.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They allow your head to nod, and since the cervical vertebrae is in the neck.
Mm-hmm.
Your spinal column has two important functions. First, it protects the delicate spinal cord, which runs through the vertebrae. The spinal cord is the place where all the nerves in your body meet.
Oh, I want to talk about this. So again, these vertebrae are bones around the spinal cord, right? And spinal cord is what tissue is that?
Spinal cord is nervous tissue.
Absolutely, it is nervous tissue. And what does it do? What is its function?
It transmits signals to the brain.
Signals from the brain to the
body.
To different organs of your body, and also from different organs of your body back to the brain.
Back and forward.
Yeah. And what would happen if this spinal cord is cut or if it is damaged?
If it's damaged where they meet,
Mm-hmm.
the body wouldn't be able to move except the head. If it's damaged below where they meet,
Mm-hmm.
the body will still not be able to move other than its head.
Right, exactly. So depending on which part of the spinal cord is cut, those, for example, if the cut is somewhere in the lumbar vertebrae, then probably your legs and lower part of your body will be affected. So many people who are injured in the wars, right, they have these spinal injuries, and because of that, they are wheelchair bound, because somewhere along, the spinal cord is cut or damaged, and the signals cannot be transmitted from the brain to lower half of your body and back, right? So it's very important to protect this nervous tissue, the spinal cord, and that's why nature has designed this way, called the vertebra is the bunch of bones protecting your spinal cord, right?
Spinal column.
Pretty cool, right?
The skull is not the only set of bones attached to the backbone. The ribs and pelvic bones are attached to it too. Along with giving shape to your chest, the ribs serve an important purpose, protecting the lungs and heart. These organs lie inside the ribs, enclosed in the rib cage. If you pound on your chest, your lungs and heart don't get squashed because the ribs provide a sturdy wall around them. Your rib cage has 12 bones on each side. each of which is connected to one of the 12 thoracic vertebrae.
I think we skipped something.
No, we didn't.
All right. So what is it telling us about the rib cage?
It's telling us that the rib cage protect two of the most important stuff:
Heart
the
and
heart and lung.
Awesome. So just like the skull was protecting, what was the skull protecting?
The brain.
Awesome. Your backbone or the vertebra was protecting what?
The spinal cord.
Awesome. Now ribs or the rib cage are protecting what?
The heart and lungs.
So one of the important functions of your bones is to give protection
To
to
one
organs inside. Right?
Very important organs.
Good job.
Yeah.
Or else you shall be paralyzed or die.
Near the top of the spinal column, you will also find a scapula and clavicle on each side. Scapula is the technical term for the shoulder blade, and clavicle is the technical term for the collarbone. The scapula and the clavicle make up the shoulder. Near the bottom of the spinal column, two hip bones form the pelvis. On each side, a pelvic bone looks like a shallow dish or bowl. That's because your intestines and other lower body organs rest inside.
All right. You had a question here, Akshay. What was the question?
Oh, so where is exactly the collarbone located?
Okay, let's go back to the previous
It's called a
page.
collarbone, not a collar blade.
So you see here,
That's a collar.
this is the clavicle, this is the collarbone,
AKA the
and this is the scapula,
Which is the shoulder blade.
shoulder blade.
Let me show
Oh.
you the shoulder blade.
Ow.
These are the shoulder blades.
That hurts.
and
Sounds
this
like
is
the
your
capula is very weak.
collarbone. All right, so at the
Scapula's
top
pretty
of
weak
your
too. Ow.
so at the top of your backbone, you have this shoulder blade, right, and the collarbone connected, and at the bottom of your spinal
I
column,
got that.
the pelvis is connected.
Now the appendages.
No, we didn't finish this.
Your arms and hands, legs and feet, your appendages, enable you to perform many different activities. Your arms and hands allow you to lift and hold things, while your legs and feet help you to move around. Being able to perform these actions is partially possible because of the bones in your appendages. Your arms are made up of 3 bones each: the humerus, the radius, and the ulna. The humerus is the upper arm bone, attached at the top to the shoulder. The radius and the ulna make up the lower part of the arm, between the elbow and the rib.
Why is it called humerus?
Humerus because it's a funny bone.
Okay.
Really?
It's not the funny bone.
It is the funny bone. Humerus.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Then what is the funny bone?
I don't know.
Humerus is the funny bone.
Then what?
The funny bone.
Yeah, we can
It's the funny bone. The funny feeling. It's the funny bone. I told you.
Let's
It worked on
continue. on.
Rithwik when I did it.
Okay,
there, right?
what are appendages?
Appendages is your basically arms and feet.
Arms and legs, right?
Okay, basically.
Appendage means something that attaches to something. See, your hands
So?
and legs are attached to the main, your,
Body.
if you treat your, skull and your backbone and your rib cage and pelvis as the main trunk,
But
Scapula.
hey, it
as your
hurts.
trunk, right? And these things are attached to the trunk on the side. That's what it means. Okay. Okay. Now let's look at the arm. Arm is divided into 2 parts, right? Upper part and lower part.
It doesn't say that here.
The
Yes, it
humerus is in the upper part.
Somewhere here.
And what are the 2 bones in the lower part?
Ulna and radius.
Ulna?
Ulna.
Ulna and radius.
People have nerves on their fingernails accidentally in their birth.
In the fingernails?
Yeah.
No, I would say in the tissue just below the fingernails. So if you
Yeah.
press on your fingernails, right? So
My dad said some people really get hurt when they got their nails because they got their nerves accidentally flow through their fingernails. That's what my dad said.
you're right. I have one fingernail here on my left arm, the pointing fingernail, which is very sensitive. That is because the nerves there are generally, they're a little deeper. Over here, they must be very close to the surface.
No, some
so when
people
you
have
press
it like
here,
nearly here, so when they
yes.
click it.
Your wrist and hand together have more bones than any other part of your body. 27. That's a total of 54 bones for both hands. Because wrists and hands have so many bones, they are very flexible and dexterous, allowing us to do small, precise activities, such as writing, drawing, playing the piano, and tying shoelaces.
I can play.
Alright, what is the total number of bones in your body?
206.
6.
Come on.
Out of those, 54 are just in your, hands and fingers.
It makes sense.
Right? Half the bones, not half,
That's
one-fourth
how
of
you
the
play
bones.
video games. That makes lots of sense.
I can play the piano with my toes.
Who cares?
You just go. Do, 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 do.
Piano's not a video game.
Alright, let's
You play
continue on.
video games with your hands.
It's very
Many for manipulating. Your fingers may be smaller than your arms, but they have more bones. Here's how the number of bones in each part of your arms and hands compare. Arm, 3 bones. Wrist, 8 carpals. Palm,
What are
5
carpals?
metacarpals.
What's metacarpals?
Each finger, 3 phalanges.
What's phalanges?
Each thumb, 2 phalanges.
What's phalanges?
Fingers and thumb, 14 phalanges total.
Okay.
What's the
Wait,
wrist?
the wrist is here.
Bones,
This.
5 bones, 8 bones, 11.
Here. I'm showing you the wrist bones here. These are the carpal bones.
What are the carpal? Oh, they're just bones?
They're just bones.
Oh, good.
It's a
I
name.
thought oh, this carpal, it's like
Two
this squishy thing
bones.
here.
No, it's just a name for that bone.
5 bones, 8 bones, 11.
Oh yeah, I thought it was something like cartilage.
Alright.
Cartilage, no. So wrist is not a bone.
54,
No, it is. There's
Why
a
is it
bunch
so
of bones here.
flexible?
9 million.
Because they're pieces of bones. They're not. It's not one single bone. If it was one single bone, it wouldn't be very flexible.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Just like your back. Back is made up of many bones, right? Similarly, your wrist and palm is made up of many bones.
The structure of the legs and feet is comparable to the structure of the arms and hands. The top portion of the leg is one solid
Thigh
bone,
bone.
the thigh bone,
Or the
or
femur.
femur. The bottom part of the leg has 2 bones, the shin bone,
And the
or
T-bone.
tibia, and the fibula.
Fibula. What's
Between the upper and lower parts of the leg is one more bone, the kneecap, or patella. The patella lies over the knee joint, protecting the tendons beneath it that allow the leg to bend.
Okay, your structure of the bones in your leg is very similar to the structure of the bones in your arm.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Does your kneecap help you do this?
Bend your knee?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, that's why you have a joint there.
Oh, that's why the kneecap is useful.
Mm.
And why is the kneecap so soft? Like I can move it like this, like that.
You need a little bit protection if you fall, right? And
But it's
even
so
even there's going to
soft.
be
It's not soft.
it's cartilage
This is your
tissue.
knee.
It's cartilage tissue. That's why it's soft. Now, see, your arm had humerus and radius and ulna, right?
Yeah.
Upper arm had 1 bone. Your lower arm had 2 bones. Similarly, your upper leg has 1 bone. What is that
Lower
called?
has
The thigh bone or the
thigh bone.
femur.
Yeah.
And the lower,
Shin
Kneecap.
bone and the
Kneecap.
fibula.
right? So very
Yeah.
similar in structure to your arm.
Except the toes. The toes are not.
Yeah, the toes are not the exact.
14
Why do we have
pounds.
toes again? What do they do?
Again, flexibility. I
How
mean, we are
would
not
you-
monkeys anymore, but I'm sure at some point of time, they were helpful in grabbing onto things while climbing.
We don't need toes. No, not. We
But
don't
it
need
looks
toes.
stupid without having toes.
Yeah, we look
No,
like
I'm sure they do give you control while bending.
Yeah,
and-
they give. I think
But they let you do this.
I think they give you stability.
Yes.
They give you tippy toes.
stabilize ability.
They give you tippy toes.
They give you
They
stability.
There
give
you
you tippy toes. That's what I think useful.
All right, let's continue.
Bones bonus.
No.
The longest, strongest, and largest bone in your body is in your leg.
It's a thigh bone.
It's the thigh bone,
Femur.
or femur. The femur extends from the pelvis to the knee. To break the femur requires a large amount of force. For example, you would have to fall from a great height or have a high-speed collision while skiing or skating. Like the hand, the foot is a complex collection of many bones. Each foot has only one less bone than a hand, 26.
Take
For
that.
total of 52 bones for both feet.
You want to go?
The ankle and heel of a foot have 7 tarsal bones, and the ball of a foot has 5 metatarsal bones. Like the hand, the foot has 14 phalanges, 2 for the big toe and 3 each for the remaining toes. Skin and tissue on the bottoms, or soles, of the feet protect the bones from the impact of jumping and running.
If there was a one more bone here, it would be equivalent to the arm. One more, because there's a big jab.
Which bones are the weakest?
I would say, can we go back?
These ones right here.
I'd say the
I would
I'd
say the wrist.
Yeah.
Good point. And that's why.
That's why I broke my arm on the wrist.
There you go. So
And
the
the
smallest
second most
ones.
common is here. It's not that strong. I feel it.
The
It
big,
hurts.
the big and strong bones are hard to break, whereas the small bones, right, at the
Yeah,
joints.
that's why you can break your
This is
fingers.
way easier to break. All you have to do, and then someone breaks it.
Yeah, this is very weak too. This part right here.
The
All right,
joints
let's continue.
are weak. The joints are weak.
Joints are the way where
This is
you take the
weak
most
too.
stress.
Joints are the weakest.
So your neck is weak.
Yeah, your neck.
Don't get out of joint. Along with 206 bones, the adult human body has over 100 joints. Joints are the places where bones meet. Bones are hard and unbending, but because bones are connected at joints, our bodies can bend and twist. Not all joints are the same. The joints where the humerus connects to the shoulder bone and where the femur connects to the pelvis bone are ball and socket joints. The top ends of the humerus and femur have a ball shape, each of which fits snugly into a round socket in the shoulder and pelvis, respectively. The elbow joint and the knee joint are examples of hinge joints.
Question.
This is weird. So technically, if our pelvis and something else joins, it makes a ball in our pelvis.
No, it doesn't.
That's how
Yes, a very good
Or else
explanation.
we would have to jump to
Yeah.
move.
Yeah, very good explanation. Let me try to
If we
explain
didn't
that
have
again.
sockets.
The legs would be useless.
Okay, so a
No.
joint is where two bones connect, right? Now you can have different kinds of joints.
Yeah.
One
Ball
joint,
and socket joint.
ball and socket joint is one type of joint that Sidharth was trying to explain. In a ball and socket joint, you have on one side you have a cup-like thing. One of the two bones is a cup. The other of the two bones has a ball, and this ball goes and sits in this cup, right?
And so,
So
it's
what does
allowed
that
to
do?
move. When I walk, this is moved. My leg is moving. That means this ball and socket joint is active.
So your hip,
So there's two ball and socket.
This is a
joints.
ball and socket
So there's a
joint.
ball here and here.
Yeah.
So I mean,
And
there's a
one
socket
over
here and socket
No, there's
here.
Yes.
one here and here.
Joints,
so
which can only bend in one direction.
your hip joint, your
Hinge
hip
joint.
joint has two places, two balls and socket, one on the right side and one on the left side.
So it's very important you don't break your ribs. I mean, it's
Your
very important you don't break
hips.
your hips.
Yes, absolutely. Your hip, right? Your hip, the pelvis bone is the socket, and your femur, right? That is has the ball, and
Oh.
that's how they connect.
Okay, now I get
Other type of joint we're going to talk about now.
Is the
Hinge joint.
The joints
can
between the
bo-
vertebrae
bend
of
in
your spine,
more than one
which are
direction.
swivel joints,
Look.
enable your body to tilt and turn. The
Too
last
confusing.
type of joint is a suture, like those found on the skull. Sutures connect the skull bones, but don't allow much movement.
Hey, it
Okay,
doesn't
hang on.
allow any movement.
One thing we missed here, the hinge joint. The hinge joint is like a door hinge. You know a door hinge, right?
It can only bend one direction.
Right.
But
Right? It can only go,
but this is not a hinge joint. That is not
So,
directions.
where in your body do you have a door-like
That
hinge
means
joint?
that's because you're changing your
Oh,
Chin,
it's this because
chin.
this you can't bend it back.
Yeah, you can only
what
bend
you're
it like
talking about is
this.
the jaw. You're right. Very good. The jaw is a hinge. Your lower jaw is connected to your skull.
You're
via
still
a hinge
bending in
joint.
the same way, dude.
So I got it right.
If you look
Yes.
at from this direction, you're bending like this. If you do it from this direction, you're bending like this.
So,
It's all the same.
so the question is, the elbow
So
is
your
certainly a
knee-
hinge joint.
So
With
your knee is a hinge joint.
Yeah.
knee is a hinge joint. Your elbow is a hinge joint.
So you mean your fingers are a hinge joint?
Absolutely.
Ow!
Complex.
Feel dizzy.
Okay, there are 3 types of joints.
4.
4? What's the 4th?
A ball and socket, this thingy, and this thingy.
That's not one. Pleb Master 2000.
So you have ball and socket. You have hinge joints.
You have
And then
Swivel.
Actually, no, you have two. Ball and socket are different.
ball
Ball
No,
and
no,
socket
no.
is right.
no,
Ball and
ball and socket
socket.
is one.
Ball and
type of
socket,
joint.
hinge, swivel, and sutures.
Such is not one.
Yeah, see? The last
Sutures.
type of
He's right. He's right.
the last type of joint is a suture.
Alright, the swivel joints are in between the bones of your spine. The sutures are in the skull.
Skull. But skull.
Okay, which of these allows the most movement?
I would
Most
say the
flexible.
ball
Ball and socket.
Ball, socket.
Ball and socket.
And second,
Hinge.
Hinge.
third,
Swivel.
Swivel.
fourth, least movement.
Sutures.
Sutures.
Sutures you barely can
You
move.
can't even move.
But I think swivel is second, I would say, after ball and socket. What do you guys think?
What does swivel allow you to do?
Swivel is
yeah,
like,
swivel is second. It's like
you know,
like
you can move
it's
in
like
many
in-
directions.
in your
Small
spine.
movement, but you can move in many directions.
yeah,
What is that? What is the swivel anyway?
Your spine, here,
Yeah.
near the neck.
like this. You can do this.
Hmm.
You can do this.
Hmm.
You can do this.
Yeah?
Swivel is second.
Yeah, swivel is second in
In
hinge.
terms of,
Now let's
alright,
flip the
continue
next page.
No, we forgot to tell them something.
Inside your
Oh my God.
bones. It might seem as if a bone is nothing more than a hard, dead object, like a rock. But that isn't the case. Bones are definitely alive, with millions of bone cells that need oxygen and food to survive, just like other types of cells. On the outside, a bone is hard and solid. This outer layer is the compact bone. Below the compact bone is the spongy bone, which contains tiny holes to keep the bones light in weight so our muscles can lift them. Below the spongy bone, and also within it, is the bone marrow. Bone marrow is important because it is the place where the body makes blood cells. The bone
So, can
marrow
you
in a
pause?
typical adult
Wait.
produces over 50 billion red blood cells every day.
I have a question. So you know two parts, right? Where does the bone marrow is here?
The bone marrow is in the bone.
here.
The bone
Here.
marrow is in the bone.
Oh, so it's here.
It's in the bone.
inside the bone.
Here.
It's
Inside the bone here.
No, if you cut it open,
If you cut
Right?
the bone open, you'll see it.
you'll go inside.
Or
It's
if
like-
you take out the bone and look from these sides, you'll see it.
Right. So here, here he cut it open and see here inside at the core of the bone, it's like the core of the earth.
So pause. Okay,
I have a
so
question.
if there are 50 billion red cells it produces every day, how much billion red cells die every day?
Oh, great question. So, how much do you think? If 50 billion,
50 billion.
absolutely. Otherwise, there wouldn't be a balance, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, over time. Last. So great question. So every day, 50 billion red blood cells are being born,
and die.
but not the same ones. A different set of
Yeah.
50 billion red blood cells are dying.
Because of yesterday's 50 red cells I died.
No, not okay. Do you know what is the average lifespan of a red blood cells? How many days it lives?
One day. About
Nope.
1 day.
97.
Yes, about 90 days.
No,
Right?
it lives 3 months.
3 months is 90 days.
About
About
it's 3 months.
All right. So what happens is
It's about
the-
100 days.
the red blood cells which are born today are going to die around in 3 months from now.
This is why we get our blood test every 3 months.
No, you don't need to.
You don't need to, but you should.
So the
If you're someone like me, I need
the
to.
3
I have
month
a next blood
old
test when I'm
ones
11.
die when the 50
I need to
billion
get
red
first.
blood cells get born, and then the next day the next 3 months.
Yes, absolutely. So today the ones which are dying in your body were probably born about 3 months ago, and
I
tomorrow.
have a question.
Go ahead.
So, how do you get permission to how did they figure out that they're inside the bones? How do you get permission to dissect a bone?
When a person dies.
Great
You just
answer.
run a bone.
No, they sign something that says bone donation. Like when they die, they can the doctors can take the bones and put them in different people whose bones are having
That's right. I
problems,
think
and they can also use it to cut apart and show people.
Great question.
That's how my mom had to dissect bones.
Oh, let me try to summarize
So I
that.
have a question.
Let me try to summarize that.
She's a doctor.
So his question was, Rithvik's question was, how did they know that the bone marrow is born at the somebody must have allow their bodies to be used for medical purposes after they die? They give permission, they give consent. Yes, you can do that. And doctors in training, they are trained initially to understand the anatomy, the insides of the human body by dissecting these dead people who have given permission.
I have another question. Let's
But
say
wouldn't the blood vessels be dead?
We say when the person blood vessels are alive for 90 days, right? So even the person died today, right? It may not die immediately if you put it in freezer. Yes, they would be sort of in a state where some of them will die.
Wouldn't the
They'd be like
shipping take
coma.
a few
It'd
months?
be like coma.
Yes, it
Wouldn't
will.
Comatose.
Wouldn't the shipping take a few
They wouldn't die right away, right? So even if let's say
So they'll die in 3 months, right? Then they can form. So then in 3 months, how long will the shipping take?
oh, great question. Shipping wouldn't take more than a day, right?
Oh, then
Okay,
So what did we learn in this page?
we
what's
learned
inside
that
the bones?
we learned what's inside the bones, and bones are not. It's not just like a hard stuff like
Yeah.
rocks. It also has stuff living in it. Like
Bones
blood
are not
cells.
hard.
The layer of the bones is hard and the inner layers is soft, and the core layer, the bone marrow, is where the new red blood cells are born, right? So bone marrow is a very important
So if you
tissue.
have 206 bones, every day you get 206 times 50,000 amount of blood cells.
50 billion. You think that's the case, or do you think together all of them produce 50 billion new red blood cells?
All of them together.
All of them together.
Yes,
Yeah, all of them together.
50 billion blood cells.
Keeping bones healthy. Even though bones are very strong, they can break if they are struck with enough force. Healing a broken bone requires a little help from a doctor and a great deal of help from bone cells. For a bone to heal properly, the bone must be put back together exactly the way it was before the break. Depending on the severity of the break, doctors may need to move around the broken bones to put them back in position. Then they place a cast around the body part where the bone was broken. The cast prevents the body part from moving so the bone has time to heal. As soon as a bone breaks, bone cells immediately begin repairing it. Holding the broken bone in place with a cast allows the bone cells to do their job.
Alright, what is she telling us here?
She's telling us about broken bones and that what bone cells do when a bone is broken, and how doctors help a little.
Okay, she's also saying how you need to put the bones back in place.
Because if they're not in the correct place, then your arm won't be like how it was before.
Yes. And then when the bone cells start growing, maybe it will form in a different shape than it was before, right?
Like a curve. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Did you have a broken bone?
Yeah.
On your right wrist or left wrist was it?
Left.
Left wrist. Alright, how many days did you have the cast for?
I think 30.
Yeah, about 5 weeks or 6 weeks. Alright, let's continue on.
Bones need to stay healthy to remain strong. Exercising regularly is the best way to keep your bones in good working order. Eating a well-balanced diet helps the bone marrow to produce healthy blood cells. Legumes, such as pinto beans or peas, other vegetables, and fruits are good for your bones. Foods rich in calcium, such as dairy products and fortified soy milk, rice milk, and orange juice, can also help bones to grow. Your bones give your body its shape, and they also give you much more. They give you the ability to move, sit, stand, and write. You wouldn't be you without your bones.
All right, what is she telling us here?
That you should exercise regularly and eat healthy stuff so your bones will be healthy and they'll grow healthy.
Mm-hmm. And
She's also telling us that your bones make up you and you wouldn't be able to do a lot of the things you do if you didn't have bones.
cool. So bones give us the shape, the structure, and they also help us move.
Sit, stand, and write, and much more.
Cool. All right. Is that the end of the book? Maybe let's go into the questions.
That is. What is the main idea of this book? A. There are many kinds of bones in the human body with different purposes. B. There are many ways to prevent bones from breaking. C. Different animals have different bones. D. Bones change in many ways over time. A. There are many kinds of bones in the human body with different purposes.
Cool. Why are the tiniest bones in a human body important? Option A. They help nerves pick up vibrations. Option B. They cause the shoulder joint to stay in place. Option C. They make it possible to hold a pen. Option D. They help us to walk upright.
They make it possible to hold a pen.
Okay, which bones are these?
The phalanges.
The phalanges, the bones in your hands. Fingers. Okay. So now I'm wondering whether are there any bones. So option A, it talks about they help nerves pick up vibrations. Are there any bones which pick up vibrations?
No. I don't think so.
So how do you hear sound?
It's through your ear.
Through your
the
ear.
Hammer?
The eardrum, you mean?
Yeah.
So the eardrum vibrates, and then there is something behind the eardrum that picks up the vibrations.
A bone.
And passes it on to the nerves, right? And the nerves communicate the signal all the way back to the
bone?
brain. So I'm wondering, the stuff that is behind the eardrum, is that cartilage or is that bone?
Cartilage.
So did she talk about this in the book at all?
No.
No, right? All right, let's stick with what she talked about, which is they make it possible to hold a pen.
Yeah.
The section titled "And Now the Appendages" is mostly about arms and legs, toes and feet, wrists and shoulders, backbones.
Arms and legs.
I think that's right.
Because hands and wrists have so many bones, they are very A. strong, B. flexible, C. easy to break, D. hard to control. Flexible.
I think that's right. What is a detail from the section titled "Inside Your Bones"? Option A. Your bones contain a light, spongy material inside them. Option B, bones are denser and harder on the inside than the outside. Option C, bones do not grow and are not really alive. Option D, there are as many bones in your feet as in your hands. So let's discuss each option. How about that? Option A, your bones contain light, spongy material inside them.
That's true. There's bone marrow inside them.
Yeah, and
That's
also
a spongy feel.
and also just above the bone marrow, the tissue that is also soft and spongy.
Bone cells.
Right. And above, the outer shell of the bone is very hard, but the one inside is
It's not hard.
right. So option A seems true.
B, we know that inside is not harder than the outside.
So option B
It's
is
not true.
not true.
Option C, bones do not grow and are really not alive. That's not true, because she mentioned bone cells repair bones when bones break, but if they don't repair, then they would be dead.
Correct. They'd be broken. They'd stay
Yeah.
broken. But we know they certainly repair.
So
And also, bones, some of the big bones in your body have bone marrow at the center of them. So that is also a live part.
yeah,
So option C is not true.
D, there are as many bones as in your feet as in your hands. No, it said in one hand, in one hand.
You have more bones in your hand or in your
In your hand.
Yes, certainly. So option D is
It
not
said
true.
you have the most bones in your hand, 54.
Okay, cool. So option A is the option to pick.
The hips and shoulder joints are both A, hinge joints, B, ball and socket joints, C, weak joints, D, all of the above. I think it's ball and socket because or else your shoulder, you wouldn't be able to rotate your arm fully in a 360-degree circle. You'd just be able to move it in a 180 if it was like a hinge joint.
Very good point. Yes, a ball and socket joint allows the most movement of all the joints in your body. Hinge joint typically only allows less than 180 degrees. You're
Yeah.
right.
What is cartilage? A, joints that hinge and swivel. B, types of bones that protect the spinal cord. C, special kinds of flexible bones. D, elastic tissue at the end of the bone. I think it's elastic tissue at the end of the bones.
Yes, you're right. So
Because because if it was a type of bone or a special kind of flexible bone, the book said your nose was made out of cartilage, but the bones didn't show.
that's very good logic.
So if it was bones, then you would be able to see it
Good.
in an X-ray, but you can't.
Very good point.
And and it's not joints that hinge and swivel because they can only move very little bit because it's stretchy and.
All good logic. All good logic. I think that's a good choice. Elastic tissue at the end of bones. If your patella were to break, what would you have trouble doing? Oh, I forgot what patella is. Do you remember what patella is?
Let's see. A, reaching upwards. B, bending your knee. C, throwing a ball. D, holding a pen.
Do you remember what patella is? Let's go back to the book.
Yeah. Oh, I know your patella. No, I don't.
What's a good place to look up?
Let's check.
What's a good place to look up hard words in your book?
The webs. Web.
No. At the end of the book, there's something.
Glossary.
Glossary.
Not here.
Oh, but look at the
Oh yeah.
picture of the human skeleton.
Oh yeah.
Patella is the
Oh, it's a knee joint.
knee joint. Wait, go back.
Well,
Is
not a knee joint, but it's a kneecap.
It's a kneecap. It's a bone. Yeah.
You would have trouble bending your knee.
Good job.
What creates new blood cells? A. Ligaments. B. Joints. C. Bone marrow. D. The spinal cord. I think C. Bone marrow because joints help you move your arms, ligaments hold your bones together, and the spinal cord protects is a nerve.
It's a nervous tissue.
So a nervous tissue don't create blood cells. They send the signals the brain wants to send to a specific part of the body. So the only one left is C. Bone marrow.
Yeah.
Which we also know.
You don't need to use exclusion. I mean, in this case, it's very clear. We already know that bone marrow is the one which produces new red blood cells and white blood cells, right?
Yeah.
And do you know something else about bone marrow? I have a question. Is bone marrow present in every bone of your body or only the largest bones in your body?
I think only the largest.
Good. Yes, it's only present in large bones of your body. All right, next question.
Which sport requires a helmet to be safely played? A. Football. B. Distance running. C. Swimming. And D. Tennis. I think it's A. Football.
I think you're right there. There's a lot of aggression.
Like tackle, throw.
Yeah, and there's a possibility of you falling down and injuring your head.
Yeah. So.
All right, let's check.
Why are bones important to humans? They help They help structure your body.
They
shape your body. They help shape your body.
All right.
And you wouldn't be you without your bones.
Okay.
And you wouldn't without your
And do they help you do something else? Anything else?
Yeah, they help you. They help you with all kinds of movement too.
Yes.
Whoops. Help you with all kinds of movement too.
Anything else they do? Do they produce any kind of cells that are important?
That's the bone cells.
Okay.
Without the bones, there wouldn't be any bone cells.
Okay.
So you wouldn't have to repair bones.
And your blood cells too.
Your blood cells?
They produce new blood cells, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Done?
Yep.
Click on the items with the red X and find a better answer to improve your score.
Why are the tiniest bones in a human body important? A. They help pick up nerve vibrations. B. They cause the shoulder joint to stay in place. C. Make it possible to hold a pen. D. They help us to walk upright.
So the question now is, okay, we know it's not
C.
C.
So I think it's A because we discussed about this.
So yeah, there are two options. It could be A or it could be D because the ear, behind the eardrum, I don't know if it's bones or cartilage, or it could also be, see, the the bones in your toes might be smaller than the bones in your hands, are they?
I don't
The
know.
pinky.
The pinky, yeah, probably.
So it's either A or D. We can try them both.
A.
Okay.
No, first D. Wait, which one should we try first?
Your pick.
A.
Super! You answered all of the questions correctly.
Yay, we're done with this book.